What's up guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be Red is one of those colours that can be a nightmare to paint. The problem is that when you come to add the highlights, what started off as red can often become either pink or orange. There's various ways to get around this issue. I'll be going over one of the easier ways to tackle the problem. Hopefully you'll find it useful. To do this you're going to need a red, a dark brown red like say Rhinox Hide, a bright green, a dark green and some white. Start off with a roughly 50-50 mix of Rhinox Hide and red. Now you're going to be using this as your base colour and I recommend laying it on in say 2 to 3 thin coats. Once you've done that, to make our highlights, we're going to start off by adding some of the red into the mix. Build up a few highlight layers, adding more and more red each time, and just keep going until you're using pure red. Alright, so now for the interesting bit. To push the highlights further, what we're going to do is take some of this bright green and mix it into the red. Now, I know what you're thinking, highlight with green? What the fuck? But seriously.
Trust in me, just in me.
This is actually going to give you a highlight that's not quite pink and not quite orange. I recommend building up a couple of layers, adding more and more green each time. But don't add too much. You don't actually want the colour to become green, you just want to lighten the red with the green. For your final highlight, add some white to the mix. Now for the shadows, we're going to take some of our dark green colour and create a glaze. You can use all sorts of fancy potions when you're making glazes, but I prefer just to stick with adding water. The idea is to thin the paint down until it's about the consistency of coloured water. So with a small amount on your brush, glaze the areas you want to darken. Using the dark green will create quite a deep shadow without making the red muddy or boring the way using black would. So this gives quite a rich red colour, and as I said earlier, there's a lot of approaches to painting red. I'm going to do another video showing a pre-shading technique, which is a little more advanced, but it gives a great finish. As always, thanks again for watching. If you've enjoyed this, like and share the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and if you have any questions, don't hesitate to leave a comment down below. Take it easy. Bye for now.